Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to another video, and today this is going to be my official review slash overview of the Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works collab. Currently in Unison League English server or global server. This has been one of the most anticipated collabs so far of 2017. Actually, we didn't even know that we were getting it, and I think it was kind of a surprise for us. I know the Japanese Unison League server got this collab like mid 2016, so it's kind of late coming to global, but better late than never. So we're gonna kind of look, what the collab has to offer, and kind of give you my advice if you're free to play or if you're pay to win, kind of what you should do and what you should veer away from. So basically, this is like the Evangelion collab. It's got a prestige reward system based on your rank, your global rank in the collaboration. Um, it gives you certain rewards based on what rank you get at the end of the collab. And the way you get prestige is by doing the collab quests and using the keys to do the prestige quests. Now, if you're planning on getting higher up in the prestige ranks, be prepared to spend some gems, and actually quite a bit of gems, because a lot of pay-to-win players, they're spending hundreds of gems to get up into the top 500, which is where the best rewards are. So if you're planning on going all out, getting into the top 500 should be the goal for you, because that's where you're going to get the ultra rare Gilgamesh, which is, in my opinion, probably one of the best monsters currently in the game. Even for Japanese Unison League, I've seen a lot of gameplay videos on him, and for ranked guild battles, he's very, very heavily used. So let's take a look at him. So he's a 31 cost monster, and his stats you get to choose, and they give you 4249, which would probably be in turn with your bonuses from your classes, would probably turn out to be around 5,000 of each, 5,000 or more of each stat that you choose. So his ability is Gate of Babylon, ability power 100 to 200, damages all enemies 4 times with magic light damage, chance to miss, added effect, reduce all stats of all enemies by 40% for 50 seconds, and increases cost recovery speed of all allies for 50 seconds. And then obviously his level, it increases the ability power for his damage attack. That is in my opinion, is a really, really awesome ability. Not only are you reducing all the stats, but you're also getting cost recovery speed, and you're also doing an attack. And I've seen gameplay, and if all 4 hits are on the higher end of the ability power scale, like close to 200, and it hits all 4 times, you're going to one-shot people. And I've seen Gilgamesh one-shot entire teams. And this is endgame people we're talking about. This is like top guild like status players. Gilgamesh is absolutely just one-shotting teams. And I mean, if you're gonna go, if you're gonna go for anything in this collab, my number one would be the UR Gilgamesh. So, like I said, if you guys have the capacity to spend some money and get some gems, or if you're already planning on, if you have gems already, I would definitely try to get into the top 500 and get Gilgamesh, because he is just going to be a monster that's going to survive, the ages. I mean, we've seen some major power creep lately with monsters, and he's just going to be one that's going to last for a long time before something better comes out. So I definitely recommend you try to go for Gilgamesh. Um, in my opinion, you're probably going to have to spend at least 200 to 300 gems to get Gilgamesh. I'd recommend that you save 50 keys. I'll go into detail in a little bit about exactly what I recommend you do in order to sustain your rank and climb the ranks, because people tend to go all out on these prestige quests probably 2 days before the event ends. Last 12 hours are really hectic, so I'll explain that in a little more detail after I kind of go over what else you can get out of this collab. So We got some gear here, and then some room decorations, which are pretty cool. And that's it. So let's go into the spawns and kind of take a look at what you get out of these spawns. So obviously you get a free 1 per day spawn that costs no gems. Your chances of getting an SSR out of it is very, very low. I've talked to some people that have sent me messages saying that they got the collab monsters out of it or a piece of gear. But if you're going to grind the prestige, your best bet would definitely be going for a weapon. So I recommend that you do the 30 gem guaranteed SSR Fate weapon. Whatever weapon you get, doesn't matter what class you are. So if you're a mage and you get the bow, equip it into your main slot and use it only for the collab quest, because you get an extra 30% prestige. And, that's really going to save you gems as far as the gems that you're going to need to spend in order to get the extra keys at the end of the collab quest to do those prestige quests. You're going to wind up spending less gems. So in turn, you're going to wind up saving gems. So you basically got to spend some to get some. Basically, that saying is what I'm looking for. So, that's definitely a must if you're going to be grinding that prestige to get Gilgamesh. I definitely recommend that you do the 30 gem spawn to get the weapon. As far as the 100 gem spawn goes, that's kind of up to you guys if you want to do that or not, because you can get totally dicked over and get something that is completely useless to you. I'm all too familiar with this. I did the Miku 100 gem spawns both times and got stuff that I did not need. I got an archer weapon, and I think it was the lancer weapon. So, it's really the luck of the draw as far as, what you're going to get here. I mean, you could get totally lucky and get armor or a monster. I mean, armor or the monsters, or even the monsters aren't class specific. So I mean, like I said, you can get a totally useless monster that, say you're a mage and you get Saber and she doesn't give any magic attacks. So I mean, that's just kind of one of the you know one of the downsides of doing that. And then we got these spawns down here. I'd recommend staying away from these spawns unless you're a whale. If you're a whale and you're spending hundreds of gems on these spawns and you want something specific, then honestly, I would stay away from the guaranteed 1 SR or higher and just do the 1 times 10 per day, because at least you're getting an experience key out of the deal. So it kind of makes up for, I mean, not totally makes up for it, but if you don't wind up getting an SSR, at least you get the experience key. So that's what I recommend. And then if we go over to the box fonts, nothing really noteworthy. The gear is pretty good as far as cosmetics go, if you're into that kind of thing. The poster, which is a sword, not really my thing. Again, if you want it just for cosmetic purposes, then go for it. But what I really want to get out of this box spawn are the collab tickets, the SSR ticket, and the tapsies. The tapsies is one of the main things that I want to go for out of this box spawn, because as you guys know, the plus gear is extremely hard to get unless you got millions of friend points and you can just hit that spawn all day every day. And even then, you're only for every 500 pieces of gear you get out of that FP spawn, you might only get 25 pluses. So again, the tapsies are one of the main things you want to go for. It's very important. Obviously, the SSR augment materials, the gold limimens, and the all this stuff down here is good to get too, which you will get a lot of. Got the monster spawns over here again. They do have the collab monsters in the reward pool, but you also do have a chance to get some of the older monsters. So again, that's totally up to you if you want to go for it. I would honestly veer away from it. The step up spawn, again, that's preference. If you want to go for it, then do it. It's really not that expensive. I think it's a total of like 200 gems before you get to the last step, and you have a chance to get a collab SSR, which again could be anything. Just like the 100 gem guaranteed UR collab. That's totally luck of the draw. You can get something completely useless. So that's your preference. So let's kind of talk about now what I recommend as far as how you should grind keys and farm that prestige. So if we go into quests and we go into event quests, you're going to see that depending on what team you picked, you're going to see the two main the two main collab quests you can pick from, and then the training with Saber, which is going to be your prestige key quests. Now, if you're the level, okay, I recommend that if you're level 110 or higher, go for Paragon. 120 or higher. If you have a good team with a good cleric, then you can try to run Arcadia. Arcadia is extremely hard, especially for this collab. So again, if you're if you got a good team, then go for it. Honestly, I would just stick with Paragon. At the end of each quest, you have for 3 gems, you have the potential to get, I think it's up to 10 prestige keys. So again, do Paragon, and you have, on average, you'll be getting between 8 and 10 keys per run if you spend the 3 gems at the end to get all the other rewards. And then as well, you'll get proficiency, and you'll also get SSR augment materials, which is a good thing. So if we go in here, if you guys want to just do the other ones for the gems, go for it. But I would just stick with the Paragon training with Saber, because that's where you're going to get the most prestige. If you have one of the weapons, the collab weapons, and you get that extra 30%, you're going to get about 10,000 prestige per run. So, I think what a lot of people do is they save. They do about 2 or 3 runs a day. Paragon, get that 30k prestige, and then that will kind of maintain your rank within like the top 1,000 area. Every day that you log in, you're going to see that you dropped a lot of rank. And people panic because they think, oh my God, this is going to be tough. I'm not going to do this. And then some people are going to give up. And then the gems that they spent are wasted gems. Stick with it, because you're going to see your rank drop a lot. It's not going to be easy. You're going to see, you're going to get into top 500 one day and then go to sleep, wake up the next morning, and you're going to be like in the rank 2000s. That it's going to happen, because the amount of prestige that people have in the beginning are very, very low. So once the collab progresses on, like it has now, it's about halfway through. You're gonna see yourself start to keep your rank more and more as the days progress. So, for instance, 2 to 3 days before the collab actually ends, you might get into rank 100 or the top 500, go to sleep, wake up the next day, and only drop like 100 ranks, and you might be in the top 600. And that's going to steadily, increase over the days. So again, stick with it. And honestly, on the last day is where you're going to want to do the most questing. So I recommend that you hoard your keys, because I think you can keep 50 in your inventory, and then the rest goes into your present box. So I recommend that you have at least 200 keys for the last day. And I wouldn't recommend using those keys until about 3 or 4 hours before the event actually ends. To be safe, you want to be in about the top 400 to guarantee that, in the top 400, when the last hour hits, to guarantee that you'll stay in the top 500. So, for instance, what I did with the Eva collab to get that UR Suka, which I never got, by the way, and because there was a big problem as far as the rewards go, and there was a server maintenance, and that's a whole other story. But what I did was, I had about 200 keys saved up for the last day. I waited until about 3 hours before the server went into maintenance. And basically what I did was I grinded the quests. I ran about 20 Paragon Prestige quests, and I got into the rank like 440 something, I believe I was, before the maintenance break. Apparently what they did with that is they extended the collab for an extra 2 hours after the maintenance break ended, and nobody knew about this. So people had an extra chance to get into the top 500, and that actually pushed me I believe, pushed me out of the top 500, but I don't know. Apparently, I should have still gotten my UR Asuka according to A-Team, but never did, so that's just another thing that I'm fighting with A-Team about right now. That's a totally different story, but so yeah, that's what I recommend. I recommend that you save, like I said, 200 keys for the last day. Wait until about 3 hours before the collab ends, and then grind your quests. Get up there in the top 400. If you want to be totally safe about it, get into the top 300, and then just wait. And then once that server break comes, you'll pretty much stay in the top 500. I mean, it's not guaranteed, so if you guys fail at it, don't come trying to kill me because, like I said, this is my advice. This is what I did for the EVA collab. If it wasn't for that maintenance break and the whole thing that screwed everything up, I would have gotten in the top 500. I would have gotten my UR Asuka. So it worked for me, and like I said, all in all, I spent about 300 gems doing it. So 300 gems exclusively on buying keys at the end of those Paragon collab quests. So be prepared to spend those gems. If you don't have those gems, don't even go for it because you will not get up there. I can guarantee you that. So if you have at least between 2 and 300 gems and you have that SSR weapon to get you that extra 30% prestige, then you have as best chance as anybody to get in the top 500. So keep that in mind. And if you guys do plan to use my my way of doing it, then I wish you the best of luck, and I wish you the best of luck regardless. But those are pretty much the stepping stones and the foundation you guys need to know in order to do that. So anyway, I'm starting to ramble a little bit. So basically, what do I think of the Fate Stay Night collaboration? That is the question of the day. Personally, I kind of think this collab was a money grab. It came real soon. We had 3 collabs back to back, okay? We had the EVA collab, and then right after the EVA collab came the spring Hatsune Miku collab, right after the EVA collab. And then we had a 1 or 2 week break, but in between that break, during that break, we had some of the best spawns that we've seen in a while. So people are spending a lot of money on those spawns. And then after that 2 week break, we got this collab out of nowhere. So I mean, in my mind, I'm kind of thinking this is a little bit of a money grab. It's definitely more pay to win oriented collab, and if I'm going to rate it 1 through 10, 1 to 10, I'll give this a solid 6 only because I love the anime. So if it wasn't for that, I'd probably give it below 5, like a 3 or 4, honestly, because a lot of these games, these RPGs lately, not just Unison League, but other ones like Summoner's War and other ones have just gotten really bad as far as the pay to win aspect. The developers are getting extremely lazy as far as customer service goes, and all they care about is the money, 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 money. So I mean, that's just my opinion. Some might disagree, some might agree, but I just think this is a money grab from A-Team, and I hope that they they rebound with something really cool after this, like a cool event or something like that. So that's what I think of the collab, and that's honestly, I don't think my stance is going to change as far as that. So let's real quick, let's look at some of the. Okay, so we'll look at the ranking rewards real quick. So again, rank 1 to 50, you're going to get the UR Gilgamesh, the SSR Gilgamesh, the room decorations, the wallpaper, which doesn't really look that good. You're going to get 2 ethers, 260 cosmetic medals, and then 15 encyclopedia keys. 51 to 250, you're going to get pretty much the same thing except for 1 ether. And then 251 to 500, this is the sweet spot. This is where, this is where most players are going to try to get, is right in this area. And you get pretty much the better balance of everything. You get no ethers, again, but, that's not really that bad. And you guys see my rank right now is absolutely atrocious. That's because if you watch the last video I uploaded, I'm waiting on 300 gems from A-Team that I never got and I paid for. So if I get those gems, then yes, I will be grinding to get that Gilgamesh, depending on when I get them. So if they give them to me on like the last day, I'm not going to even bother because there's no point in doing it. So yeah, that's it sucks, but you know, what are you going to do? So yeah, guys, 251 to 500 is where you're gonna want to be. And you know, if you plan on going higher than that, be prepared to spend a lot of gems because rank 1 to 50 and 51 to 250 are going to be in the millions of prestige. So that's going to cost you hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So that's going to do it for the video, guys. If you enjoyed it, leave a like. Remember to subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one.